esteemed senior colleague Srivastava who has been lending this space to the radio festival. Hope next year it becomes much easier for you. I think you would have noted your point. Pragya, our Director General for the All India Radio, Dr. Benno Boyle, is that right? Right? Achna has always been at the helm of bringing the community radios together. And you're absolutely right. You know, last year, 13th of February, I just got 1 week into this job, and this was the first time that I kind of got engaged with the community radio, the universe of community radios in our country. So at the outset, my congratulations to all of you. World Radio Day. It's been what 2010 it was decided, right? You had decided that we need to have a World Radio Day around 13th of July, and I'm very happy that this particular session has this particular year, world and climate change. I mean, radio and climate change. That's the theme of the World Radio Day this year. At the same time, you have the Radio for Resilience. I hope Radio for Resilience also means climate resilience, right? Of course, great. So, honorable guests, esteemed colleagues, and all the friends from the world of radio, it's indeed an honor to be here at the 8th edition of the Radio Festival. Congratulations, Archanaji, for doing this year on year, and we need people like you who creates a platform that can celebrate the power and reach of radio. So my congratulations to you, and friends. I think while transformations are happening, technological disruptions are underway. The most enduring and transformating mediums of communication is a radio. It's not just a medium; it's a lifeline that actually transcends borders, the geographical borders that we have created, connects people, and helps amplify the voices, most importantly. And I think one of the most memorable moments in India's radio history actually took place on the midnight of August 14, 1947. And as the country stood on the threshold of independence, it was radio that brought the voice of history into people's homes. At exactly 11:55 p.m. on 14th, the legendary broadcaster Melville V. Mello took to the airwaves of All India Radio and actually announced that this is All India Radio. We now bring you a special broadcast on the eve of independence. Moments later, the entire nation listened as our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, delivered his iconic Tryst with Destiny speech. His words at the stroke of the midnight hour when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom, but carried across the country through the magic of radio. And for millions who had no access to newspapers or other media, radio was their only connection to that historic moment. It was through the power of sound that India's independence was celebrated in every village, town, and city. There was no internet, no newspapers. How do you think the country got to know that we become independent, right? It was through the medium of radio. And on November 12, 1947, during his first and only appearance on the AIR broadcast, Father of the Nation, Mahatma Gandhi, said about radio, "This is a wondrous thing." Bapu said, "In it I see Shakti. In it I see Shakti, which is the miraculous power of God." These are the words, iconic words, none other than Mahatma Gandhi. Friends, 2 years ago, India marked 100 years of radio broadcasting, a milestone that reflects its unparalleled impact on our society. Since the first ever broadcast by the Radio Club of Bombay in 1923, radio has evolved, adapted, and strengthened its role as a trusted source of information, education and entertainment. Today, All India Radio, our public service broadcaster, is among the largest broadcasting organizations in the world. With 591 broadcasting centers, AIR covers nearly 90% of the country's geographical area and reaches 98% of our population. It serves a diverse nation by originating programs in 23 languages, 179 dialects, truly living up to its motto, Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya, for the benefit and happiness of all. The News Services Division of AIR works around the clock, broadcasting over 607 news bulletins daily for both home and external services. And these bulletins are aired in multiple Indian languages as well as foreign languages, ensuring that the news reaches people in their preferred language and region. And supporting this vast news network are 46 regional news units which are tailoring content to reflect the national, regional, and local affairs based on their newsworthiness. Now, beyond India's borders, All India Radio's External Services Division also plays a very vital role in strengthening our global voice. We broadcast in 27 languages, 15 foreign and 12 Indian languages for an aggregate duration of 72 hours daily, and we reach audience in over 100 countries. And this is actually positioned in All India Radio as a cultural and diplomatic bridge, fostering connections across nations and communities. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, in the current day and age, has actually truly made use of the medium of radio and in an absolutely iconic manner. He has not just recognized the immense power of radio to connect with the people of India, especially in the remote corners of the country, but he also understands the value of the medium, and that's why his monthly program, Man Ki Baat, has actually revolutionized the way communications happen with the citizens when it comes to any government across the world. Since its launch in October 2014, Man Ki Baat has now become a transformative platform where the voices of ordinary Indians are heard and celebrated. Whether it is a farmer innovating in a farm field somewhere in the remote corners of our country, a young entrepreneur starting some business somewhere, or a teacher inspiring students, Man Ki Baat has given all these unheard voices a stage, and it has not just reached every stage, every community, every age group. It has also played its spreading a lot of awareness, especially the times when COVID struck us. His conversations are not just around the local community, his conversations also transcend boundaries in talking about environmental conservation, the theme for this year's World Radio Day, including Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Vocal for Local, etc. So this is actually the true power of radio, the ability to inform, inspire and unite a nation, truly exemplified by Man Ki Baat being aired every month. Community radio, all of you, many of you coming from, and many of you run community radios, and I understand your pains. We're trying to fix up as much as we can. We'll continue to support community radios. We'll ensure that financial distress which many of you might be facing is ameliorated, because community radio stations are game changers. They not just empower local communities by addressing hyper-local issues, but they also, like Man Ki Baat, provide a platform to local farmers, local artisans, women entrepreneurs, and the young people to share their voices and aspirations. And in that sense, it truly is the community radio. It belongs to the local community. It belongs to the people there. We in the ministry, we understand the value of community radio in fostering local dialogue, social change and grassroots empowerment. And we've been saying that we need to support this, and that's why we in the ministry have a scheme which supports community radios. And we also provide financial assistance for setting up community radio stations in our country. And I've been telling all my information dissemination teams that community radios should always get a share of the advertisements that we give to or disseminating government programs. In the last 11 years, community radio sector has witnessed substantial growth, which also goes to show that it's being liked, it's being used, it's being considered as a vehicle for energizing and empowering local communities. The number of stations, which stood at some 140 in 2014, now stand to somewhere close to 530 odd community radio stations. And all these stations are playing a very crucial role in addressing local concerns, promoting education. Many of them are in government colleges, schools, etc., disseminating government programs, schemes, and allows many of you to amplify the voices of the farmers, artisans, women entrepreneurs, and marginalized communities. Community radio, in one sense, is truly the radio by the people, of the people, for the people. Other than that, you also recognize the potential of FM radio, AM FM radio to expand its outreach, and we also understand it has a huge role in catering to local and hyper-local issues. You would have all heard that the Union Cabinet last year has approved a massive expansion of the private FM radio network across 234 new cities. The bidding process is likely to start very soon. Very soon means very, very soon. We've already got applications and a very good response is coming, so that private FM radio moves to 234 new locations in our country. And this would not just help in enhancing local content, but obviously it will generate local employment. And we also hope that many of these unserved regions will get ultimately served. So today's topic, radio for resilience and climate change, obviously, which is an international theme for this year's World Radio Day. It could be more relevant in today's world. And maybe, as was pointed out, it maybe is coming a little 5 years later, possibly. We should have had it many years before, because across nations and communities, we are witnessing an era of unprecedented challenges. I mean, look here, 13th of February, and how many of you are not just feeling the heat in this room? I mean, it's outside as well, and it's not so chilly, it's not so cold at all. It's just changed in a day. This is the level of hyperactive seasonal and climatic variation that we are observing, and all these will lead to climate change-induced disasters, public health emergencies, obviously, and socio-economic disruptions, and ultimately will fuel humanitarian crisis. And I think in these testing times, radio will become a huge source as a beacon of information, not just for mobilizing people, but it might also help become a bridge between the policymakers and people on the other side. So that's going to be a very significant role for the radios. I've been district collectors in areas where a lot of disasters struck in the coastal parts of Andhra Pradesh, and I know whether it's disaster warnings in cyclone-prone areas or health advisories during a pandemic, sometimes even an educational program, railway has always been the principal source of empowering and informing and uniting people across years and across decades. I'm also sure that there is a lot of role that community radios can play in climate resilience, and not just in providing early warning systems in coastal areas, cyclones, etc., which threaten livelihoods. People who are in a position to broadcast real-time alerts. In public health crisis, as I mentioned, COVID pandemic played a huge role. In socio-economic challenges also, in providing right information, correct information, educational opportunities, employment opportunities, and financial literacy programs will be of great help. And at the same time, community participation, because most of these challenges can only be adequately met if we have the communities getting together. I agree with Archana ji. Radio has stood the test of time, but now it faces huge challenges in the digital age. The rise of on-demand streaming platforms, podcasts, AI-driven content is changing how the audience consume information. And you also have a challenge when you say that that is completely uncontrolled, I am completely controlled, and the regulatory aspects also uh, huge issues currently. But I'm absolutely sure that rather than fading away, it's exemplified by the fact that when we have issued bids for these 234 nation cities, we have 20 companies which are participating in the bids. That means there's still people who consume a lot of content on video, and they would continue to consume that on video. And I'm sure you will all reinvent, which happens. You will reinvent. People will again go back to radios. I don't know how many of you are aware of Prasar Bharati OTT called Waves. If you're not, please download it. It's free for those who want to have ad-supported content. And I think there is a film being played there, right? I've seen it. Jaya Bachchan plays a radio से related है. गुलमोहर नाम नहीं है उसका. आप चेक करिएगा. I think ये सस्पेंस छोड़ देते हैं. Please go and download Prasar Bharati Waves, 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 Lahar. Lahar is the meaning of the waves. PV. So please download the OTT and you have a very good film. Jaya Bachchan is the lead actor, and she's talking about how radio is so important. She's trying to compare mediums and very interesting. Please have a look. So there will be challenges, but I'm absolutely sure that the medium would continue to remain impactful and relevant. So from our side, from the ministry side, I reaffirm our commitment to this medium. We'll ensure that we'll not just be afraid of innovation, we'll embrace innovation, we'll foster collaboration, and we'll strengthen the role of radio as a catalyst for change. And once again, I congratulate all those who are associated with this radio festival. So many years you've been doing it with limited funds at your disposal. She can't complain. We do support. We do support her. Srivastava ji, you take away some of our money, but we do support. And I was telling Pragya, if you can bring a bigger crowd, I can give you the auditorium next year for free. We in All India Radio, we have 490-seater auditorium. It's available for free. Please make use of it. And we'll also offer lunch for free, and we'll also invite IIC and all its members. Because IIC is one of our principal partners in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Srivastava ji has been our very senior officer and colleague, and I've been knowing him for the last 20 years now, so I can do a little bit of fun at him, but believe me, we need to support community radios, because if we don't support you, then we are obviously not supporting the weak wings. And obviously, in the ministry, it's our job to ensure that we provide voice to the voiceless, and we create a bridge which can become a force for positive transformation. So once again, my congratulations to you, and I'm so sorry I have to move on to the next commitments, otherwise I would have stayed back. But my congratulations to all of you for good deliberation and good radio festival entire day long. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir, for the inspiring speech filled with optimism and hope for the future. Now I will invite you to launch the gender manual. This marks a significant step forward in our journey, laying the foundation for a more inclusive and equitable process. With this, the path to true representation and fairness begins.
सबसे साथ मेट को भी ऐसे खड़ा दूसरे को हम दूसरे को सोच रहे साथ आ जाएगा अच्छा पिक्चर ये सोना लगा कितना व्यूअर हो गया
Thank you so much, sir. We'll continue with our discussions, and I will invite our next panelist to take over, and Dr. Pragya Paliwal Gaur, Director General, All India Radio and News Service Division. Ma'am, I would like to invite you to make your remarks.
Dignitaries on the desk, Dr. Benugar, Shri Kian Srivastava, DGIC, all the radio enthusiasts sitting in front of me, a very happy radio day to you all. My greetings to you all.